Selling is 90% conviction, 10% communication of that conviction. 90% of selling is conviction, means belief in your product. 10% communication of the conviction. Now, I can go an example. Till this, I understood. I was selling $5,000, $10,000 policies. When I understood this, one guy a good professional sat down with me and he says, you are looking, and he was selling 50, 100,000, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million policy, huge. And I was selling 5, 10,000. So I went up to him and I said, buddy, tell me, how are you doing all this? He said, Shiv, I need to do a one-on-one presentation with you. I said, all right. I'll do a role play with you. I said, all right. He came to my place, good professional, and he started exactly the same thing what he would do to a prospect outside. Started doing fact-finding. Okay? Went through the fact-finding process, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he says, how much insurance do you have currently? This. And in case you died, you have children, how much money do you think they would need to live and survive and so on? And in case you died, you have a mortgage or a rental. Who's going to pay for this? And it's X $100,000. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He said schooling, education, and then today something happens and 20 years later, if they go to college, is there an inflation factor? Yeah, the factor inflation. They calculated. So eventually they came out with a need of over $1 million. And he said, how much insurance do you have? I said, 5,000. He said, no wonder you're not able to sell. He says, you are looking to tell them to buy $1 million. You create a need for them, but you know something? You are dishonest. He said to me, you are dishonest. You are not protecting your own family, and you want them to protect their family, and you are telling them to do it.
Where's your conviction?
Where is your conviction? You know something? He says, that same day, I signed up $1 million policy. And eventually, over a period of time, I kept adding, and my insurance was almost $4.5 to $5 million. I carried that much insurance. I was paying almost $75,000 per year in my premiums. $75,000 per year. But that was great.
And your sales would have gone up.
I hit 4-year MDRT. Then I got diversified into many other things. Because if I had hit 5, then you can use the MDRT logo for the rest of your life. But I can't. So it's fine. That's okay. But I understand. My wife hit MDRT for a few years. We were together. We were both going to the conferences together. So what I'm sharing with you, sadly, how many people know what I'm talking? And most sales managers don't know what I'm talking.
Agreed.
And they're teaching selling to their people. Rubbish. They're talking nonsense. And how do you expect performance out of these people?
I love what you also mentioned, when we met at lunch a couple of weeks ago. And, when the host asked you to share something and you straight away spoke about, the importance of, relationships. And, we've always said this, neither of you in a contact and a contract is letter R, and that R is relationships. And I think, again, it boils down to that part of rapport, which you mentioned, which is now the top of our inverse, pyramid. It's just that rapport and that relationships. And I think people just don't want to build that anymore. They just want quick wins, and they want to use technology, and they want to use shortcuts. They don't want to spend time to building rapport and building relationships. And I think that's the biggest, folly of salespeople today.
Well, that is absolutely true. And that kind of thing goes to every area. You notice one thing, people who are selfish, they are selfish in everything.
Right.
Yeah. Selfish in money, selfish in relationship, selfish in food, selfish everywhere. I'll share one little thing with you, a little story, which I have written in my book, You Can Achieve More, which says subtitle, Take a Break Before You Break Down. It is helping on talking of partly on how to handle stress.
Right.
A man went to a spiritual master and said, Sir, I am fed up with my job. My boss is nasty. I am overworked, underpaid. I got so many problems at work. Give me a blessing. So the man says, well, you got problems at work. Your boss is nasty. You are overworked, underpaid. You got so many problems. What blessing do you want me to give you? Should I say that you should be fired from your job as that's a good blessing? Oh, no, that'll be worse. So he says, you got a job, you got a problem. You have no job, you got a problem. Guess who's got the problem? Guess who's got the problem?
You got
You know what this is called? This is called management mismanagement. Management properly is profitable. Mismanage, loss. Manage health, profitable. Mismanage health, loss. Manage finance, profitable. Mismanage finance, loss. Manage time, profitable. Mismanage time, loss. Manage relationship, profitable. Mismanage, loss. Do you need a PhD to understand this? Do you need an MBA to understand this? Sadly, after doing PhD, MBA, they still don't understand this. They don't. No kidding. And since you brought about the point of relationship, when I do programs for business schools, they teach them networking. And they say, go join this group, Chamber of Commerce or Lions or Rotaries or whatever you are, go join. Go network. You ask the guy, what are you doing? I'm networking. Why are you networking? I'm building contact. Why are you building contact? Someday he could be useful. Usefulness goes, everything finishes, and it's all over. You see, they don't teach them the difference between context versus relationship. And they don't teach them that usefulness is a byproduct of relationships. You see, they're only building context to extract something out of you. They're parasites, they're rascals. They're only takers. You think you can ever build relationship with rascals like that? Answer is, you cannot. So it's only takers, they're parasites. We have an office in Singapore. One evening I came from dinner and a man met me in the lobby and he asked me, Mr. Khera, you came from dinner? I said, yes, sir. And he said, you met some people tonight? I said, yes, sir. And he said, I hope they could be useful to you. Look at this. I felt like giving him a piece of my mind and something else. Right. See, his objective of meeting people was usefulness, what he could extract out of them. They are parasites. They are crooks, only takers. So you don't build relationships like this. In relationships, you need to start learning to give.
100%.
And you start giving. You don't wait till you get something, then I will give. Then you are doing transactions.
Very powerful.
That is transactions.
Yeah. I'm sure you love this particular clip. If you want to watch the full episode, click on the link below and watch the whole episode.